Zhou Nan travels through parallel worlds and awakens the system. Completing the tasks published by the system during live streaming will earn rewards. At the beginning of the game, master-level unlocking techniques were obtained by unlocking. As long as you have a needle in your hand and see the eye, you can open it. Such a capable person naturally caught the attention of the police. The earliest batch of follow lists in the live broadcast room were all official accounts. And when Zhou Nan later showcases, he will explore the clouds and ghostly hands, brutal martial arts, and language art. Everyone is completely panicked. Keywords of the novel. Live streaming showcasing talents, police uncle following me without pop-ups, live streaming showcasing talents, police uncle following me, downloading the complete TXT collection, live streaming showcasing talents, police uncle following me, reading the latest chapters. Chapter 1. What is your talent as an anchor? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. What is your talent as an anchor? Anchor, what is your talent? What does the title of this live broadcast room mean? If you forget your keys when you go out, you can only find a way to unlock it on the first day. Do you really know how to live stream? Why don't you interact with Barrage? In a live broadcast room titled, Forgot the Key When Going Out, can only find a way to unlock it on your own. A man wearing a duckbill hat with an indistinct face is standing at the entrance of the hallway outside the apartment. He glanced at the nearby filming equipment and confirmed that recording had started. He took out a white card from his pocket. Quickly walked to the door. I saw him scratch the card into the gap of the door frame and shake it back and forth a few times. Click. The locked door was easily opened. The entire process took less than 3 seconds. A set of easy and freehand movements, flowing smoothly. This operation surprised many people in the live broadcast room. Oh my goodness, are you specifically studying this, anchor? What did the anchor do just now? I took a sip of water and the door opened. My buddy was so scared that he just woke up and locked the door. Is it so easy to open doors in this old neighborhood? Just as the popularity of the live broadcast room began to rise due to the first launch of Traffic Push, the number of people also increased from a few people at the beginning to dozens. The next second, the live broadcast room will go black. What? I wiped it. I just brushed off a gift worth 6 yuan, and I didn't even thank my gift. Did you just play it? On my end, it shows that the live broadcast duration of this anchor is only 3 minutes, and this person is too short and powerless, right? I think it was a mistake. I've never seen such a terrible anchor before. Some netizens believe that the live broadcast room should have been accidentally clicked by the host on the down broadcast button, so they waited for a while in the live broadcast room. However, 10 minutes passed. The screen in the live broadcast room still displays. The anchor you are following has not started live streaming at this moment. Zhou Nan, who turned off the live broadcast, leaned against the sofa in the living room and said, "Is this system really crazy?" He is a traveler who, upon arriving in this parallel world, becomes a newly graduated college student and awakens a system. But unlike those singers, the performance system is different. What Zhou Nan awakened was a particularly customizable live streaming system. The rewards given are also some strange and bizarre rewards. Rewards can only be obtained by Zhou Nan completing the tasks published by the system through live streaming. For example, just now, this is a live unlocking task released by the system not long ago. It's also good that Zhou Nan came up with a theme of forgetting to bring the key and opening his own door. Otherwise, Zhou Nan feels that his behavior may be misunderstood by many people. The reward is about to be credited. This idea just came to Zhou Nan's mind. A system prompt sound rang in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the live broadcast task. Obtain Advanced Unlock Techniques. Obtain the Unlocking Professional Qualification Certificate. Subsequently, a small notebook appeared in Zhou Nan's hand. I haven't waited for Zhou Nan to collect the certificate yet. The system prompt sounds again. Ding, there are new tasks to accept. Live streaming unlocks the U-shaped lock. Task reward. Master level unlocking technique. The next day. A live broadcast room titled, Forgot Key When Going Out, Can Only Find a Way to Unlock It Yourself the Next Day, has been opened. Although the sudden broadcast of Zhou Nan last time caused dissatisfaction among some water enthusiasts. But there are still many people who have been conquered by the craftsmanship demonstrated by Zhou Nan. In order to be the first to see Zhou Nan showcase his skills next time, I followed him in the live broadcast room. So when Zhou Nan starts live streaming again, they all received the broadcast reminder posted by the live streaming platform and entered the live broadcast room. Why is that title again? Anchor, you forgot your keys again today. Judging from the surrounding environment, should it be in the same place or at his doorstep? It's not interesting to keep the same lock open, why don't we open the next door? Hahaha, if you want to send the anchor in, just let me know. However, just as Zhou Nan adjusted the camera of the live broadcast equipment, the audience in the live broadcast immediately realized something was wrong. They found that although the live broadcast was still at Zhou Nan's doorstep, but this time, there was an extra anti-theft door in front of his house. It is obvious that the marks have just been welded on. The audience in the live broadcast room was stunned. The barrage on the screen also paused for 1 or 2 seconds before starting to surge out. Hahaha, yesterday I thought it was really because the anchor forgot his keys. It turned out he was showing us his unlocking skills. The anchor even welded an anti-theft door to his own house in order to help us fix things. He really makes me cry. This type of U-lock is not easy to open, I estimate it will take some time, and there may even be a possibility of overturning. The vast majority of the audience also hold the same viewpoint. After all, many shops use this type of U-shaped lock, so the security of this lock goes without saying. So they also paid attention to Zhou Nan's upcoming performance. I saw Zhou Nan take out a silver needle from a small box. After lifting the U-shaped lock with the left hand, the upper body slightly bent, and the silver needle in the right hand was inserted accordingly. With a click, netizens have not yet seen Zhou Nan's movements clearly. The U-shaped lock on the anti-theft door was unlocked by a small silver needle and fell to the ground. Zhou Nan put away the silver needle, bent down to pick up the U-shaped lock, hung it on the door handle, and breathed a sigh of relief. Today's live broadcast task has been successfully completed. However, just as Zhou Nan was about to click on the next broadcast, amidst the full screen of 666 bullet comments, a rather aggressive paid pop-up appeared abruptly. Happy Bull. Is this insulting my intelligence? Isn't this something a performance prop that can be easily seen at a glance? Who can open a U-shaped lock with just one needle? Happy Bull. Do you have a certificate? If you do, come and open my door. I'll call a car for you and pay you the market price. Happy Bull. If you dare not come, apologize in the live broadcast room and don't insult the skill of unlocking. Zhou Nan originally didn't want to pay attention to it. After all, it's true, he doesn't need to prove anything to such people. But soon, another thought came to Zhou Nan's heart. If he didn't pay attention to this questioning voice, would the system not reward him? Zhou Nan pondered for a while and felt that this pit-father system was really possible. If you don't receive the reward, won't your anti-theft door be soldered out? With this in mind, Zhou Nan still gave a response. Where is your home? If it's far away, it's okay. Happy Bull. The address has been sent to your back end, and we should not be far away. I clicked on it in the nearby Anchor recommendation section. Zhou Nan clicked on the private message backend and glanced at it before saying, okay, you can transfer me the travel expenses, work delay fees, and so on. Then prepare the property certificate, ID card, and so on, and wait for me to come. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. 3-second door opening to save people. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. 3-second door opening to save people. The next day. Noon. A taxi followed the navigation and stopped at the entrance of Anhui community. Zhou Nan picked up his backpack and got off the car. Although not long after yesterday's live broadcast ended, Zhou Nan received a reward from the system and obtained a master-level unlocking technique. But he thought he had said everything and would continue to use this live broadcast room to complete the live broadcast tasks in the future, so he still chose to attend the appointment. Zhou Nan hasn't taken a few steps yet. A middle-aged man in a suit and leather shoes, wearing oily hair, took the initiative to greet Zhou Nan and said, "Here, I am the happy cow from your live broadcast room yesterday. Just call me Zhang Donghan." "Oh, lead the way." Zhou Nan treated it as a doorstep transaction. Because he was afraid that the other party would cause trouble, Zhou Nan chose to start the live broadcast for safety reasons. The anchor actually came. "I also feel that the unlocking speed is a bit unscientific. Now there's a good show to watch." I believe the anchor. Yesterday's actions and techniques seemed too professional, and I even suspect that the anchor may have some side jobs in private. Later, as the audience in the live broadcast room moved with the camera, they saw the happy bull and gave mixed reviews. "Isn't it hot for this person to wear so much in summer? No wonder you can give gifts in the live broadcast room, which makes you a successful person at first glance. Hey, what does it say above? Rich people all drive to the company. The car has air conditioning, and the company has air conditioning, so even if they wear suits, they won't feel hot. I understand everything for you." However, Zhang Donghan is not a big boss or a tycoon. The image of a wealthy person on the internet is entirely designed to attract money. Zhang Donghan is actually a professional counterfeiter, and anti-counterfeiting is not for any justice or to maintain the market environment, but to rely on this for a living. In addition to earning money by knowing and buying fake products, he also likes to crack down on fake products and threaten various small anchors. So Zhou Nan became his target. Zhang Donghan didn't expect the other party to actually come. His original prediction for the subsequent plot development was that Zhou Nan would choose to settle privately and pay him a ceiling fee, and the matter of the two acting a script would be over. After all, taking a silver needle to open the U-shaped lock in 3 seconds is so fake. So Zhang Donghan didn't panic either. He firmly believed that Zhou Nan was a live streamer who relied on props. So under the guidance of Zhang Donghan, the two of them entered the community together. Just as the two of them arrived at the bottom of the building where Zhang Donghan was located, Zhang Donghan found a circle of people around the luxury car he rented. He even saw a security guard wearing a work uniform in the crowd, holding a stone head in his hand as if he was about to smash a car. This startled Zhang Donghan into a cold sweat. You should know that the car he rented has a market price of over 4 million yuan. So Zhang Donghan immediately stepped forward and scolded, "What are you doing? Have you never seen a luxury car before? And you, why are you standing here with a stone? Hurry up and get away from me, you can't afford to wipe this car even a little bit." However, Zhang Donghan's words have not been finished yet. "Do you still have the face to speak?" interrupted a middle-aged woman in the crowd, pulling her throat. "How do you become a parent? The child is still in the car, and you actually locked the car door without leaving a crack in the window. It's so hot today. How high is the temperature inside the car now? Do you know? Open the car door now." Upon hearing this, Zhang Donghan was taken aback and panicked when he saw his son locked in the back seat of the car. After picking up his child from kindergarten at noon, he suddenly remembered that he had scheduled a holiday with Zhou Nan today, so he stopped and locked the door. After checking the door lock used to crack down on Zhou Nan, he arrived at the entrance of the community. I suddenly forgot my son sitting in the back seat. Now looking at his son in the car, who was sweating profusely and crying incessantly, Zhang Donghan immediately rummaged in his pocket for the key. But Zhang Donghan couldn't find it anymore, and he couldn't even say that after he went back, he left the key at home and didn't bring it out. At this moment, the boy in the car, whose lips were dry and his face had begun to turn pale, fainted. This made everyone present panicked. A few kind-hearted aunties immediately suggested, "Can't you find the key? Hurry up and smash the window to save people." Yes, this situation is very likely due to hypoxia, and combined with high temperatures, it could be life-threatening. That security guard, why are you standing there? Hurry up and smash the window. But after hearing Zhang Donghan's words earlier, the security guard had already placed the stone on the ground. The security guard also realized that the price of this car was expensive. If it were to be smashed, he wouldn't be able to afford to pay a salary of 3,000 yuan per month. So if Zhang Donghan didn't speak, he wouldn't dare to move at all. At this moment, an old man in the crowd couldn't bear to watch anymore. He picked up a stone on the ground and was about to smash the car window. To everyone's surprise, he was stopped by Zhang Donghan and said, "You can't smash it. My house is nearby, I will go home immediately to find the key." As soon as this statement was made, everyone in the live broadcast room became angry. Oh my goodness, what kind of person is this? He doesn't even want his own son anymore. This situation is so dangerous. Going home to get the key, he has such a big heart. So what kind of bullshit country tycoons are just personas, they can't bear to smash the car windows. I guess it's rented, I'm afraid I won't be able to afford it. Zhou Nan also felt incredulous about this. He never expected that this person would even disregard his own son's life for the sake of a car window. It was originally a matter of smashing a stone, but this kind of person has made the current situation so complicated. Seeing this, Zhou Nan did not hesitate at all. He took out his toolbox from his backpack and walked quickly forward. Zhang Donghan, who was afraid of the car window being smashed, saw Zhou Nan's actions at this moment and felt hopeful in his heart. Yes. Isn't this person a locksmith? He should be able to open it. But this thought only lasted for a moment. This person is just a live streamer scamming money with props on the internet, without any solid unlocking skills. Zhou Nan crouched down and pulled out a silver needle as usual, when he stood up again. The car door was pulled open by Zhou Nan in front of everyone's shocked eyes. The entire process took less than 3 seconds. The live broadcast room is filled with bullet comments. Oh my goodness. Is this possible? I don't have decades of experience in unlocking, can I definitely not do it? Does this luxury car not have electronic anti-theft function? How could it be so easily opened? Fortunately, it was opened. Is that boy okay? Zhou Nan also breathed a sigh of relief at this moment. It seems that the master-level unlocking technique provided by the system is really as useful as it portrays. In other words, after obtaining master-level unlocking skills, as long as there is a needle in hand, there are no locks that Zhou Nan cannot open now. However, what Zhou Nan still doesn't know at this moment is, at the peak of his popularity in the live broadcast room, a user named Ping and Jinghai followed the live broadcast room. End of this chapter. Chapter 3 is very well written, rewarding tea in the bureau. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 is very well written, rewarding tea in the bureau, is this the anchor? The police officer sitting in front of the computer muttered to himself. Not long ago, Zhou Nan's first 2 live broadcasts, where he performed opening his own door, were recorded by netizens and posted on the internet. Because Zhou Nan's movements in the video are extremely skilled, without any dragging or dragging. Many people who watch videos can't help but think of whether this person has any side jobs. So they all at the police under the video. After receiving the report, the police officer immediately checked those 2 videos. Although through live streaming, it can be seen that it is indeed Zhou Nan's own home. He did not, as some netizens have described, engage in live streaming lock-breaking and theft in broad daylight. But some netizens did not exaggerate. Zhou Nan's technique is indeed too professional and neat. This police officer can see that this person is either very confident in their unlocking skills, or has extremely strong psychological qualities. This person's hands are particularly stable, and there is no sign of nervousness or stage fright when facing the camera. After watching the first video, it was okay. But the second video immediately caught the attention of the police officer. The police officer felt that Zhou Nan's performance in opening the U-shaped lock was even better than the several experienced thieves she had seen in the surveillance footage before. So the police officer followed the platform information in the video and found Zhou Nan's live broadcast room. As soon as I entered the live broadcast room, I saw that amazing scene. Zhou Nan used a silver needle to open the door of a luxury car, and the entire process only took him 3 seconds. So the police officer immediately stood up and prepared to report this matter to his captain, to see if there was a need for filing. At the same time, there are 2 messages on the internet that have been trending. One of them is, the car owner forgot to bring the key and locked their child inside the car. The enthusiastic crowd wanted to smash the car window to save people, but was stopped by the car owner. In the attached video below this hot search. On one side, the child cried in despair inside the car, even falling into fainting. On the other hand, there was the father who stopped the enthusiastic crowd from smashing cars to save people. So countless people were angered by this video. Can't the loss of tens of thousands of yuan compare to the lives of his children? Is someone who can afford to drive such a car someone with poor money? Why is he reluctant to even smash a car window? Someone has already dug it out below. This car is not his at all. It was rented by him from a car rental company. Then I understand. This kind of person is the kind of person who, even if they live in poverty, still wants to have a swollen face and pretend to be fat. They simply can't afford it. Che, his son has fainted. I don't think even the poorest person can still think of tirelessly searching for the car keys. After all, this person is too cold-blooded. And another hot search allows those online who follow this matter to quickly learn about the follow-up of this matter. Young man uses a silver needle to open the car door and save people. In that video, the entire process of Zhou Nan unlocking did not exceed 3 seconds. Many viewers of this video accidentally notice that the car door is open. So the focus of netizens is not only on the child who was rescued, but also on the person Zhou Nan. Is it really so slippery? It seems like I've opened the car door before. If it weren't for seeing the medical staff carrying the child onto the ambulance at the scene, I would have thought these people were actors. This would be too exaggerated. I'm thinking about a question. This luxury car priced at over 4 million yuan has now been opened with a silver needle in just 3 seconds. Will this make these car owners have any thoughts? You don't know yet. Anyway, netizens have all gone to the official website of the luxury car next door to eat melons. Due to the high level of discussion on this matter on the internet. The official of that luxury car naturally saw these hot searches. So the senior management of the company immediately held an emergency meeting. One of the men in a suit looked at the crowd in the conference room and said, "Don't think about this year's year-end bonus. If I don't handle this matter well, those who need a salary cut will have to leave." The man in a suit had an extremely ugly expression on his face. Their car was cracked by someone using a silver needle in less than a few seconds. So the man in a suit immediately believed that there was a significant safety vulnerability in the car itself. And the other people in the conference room are even more atmospheric and dare not breathe at this moment. They also understand. This matter has become a hot topic, so it can never be a small matter. If not handled properly, it is likely to lead to a series of serious consequences in the future. Even their entire brand may suffer significant losses. So someone immediately stood up and began proposing a solution. I think this thing is too strange. Is it possible that the safety system of our car is not at all faulty? But it's something that other brands have done to smear us. So we should report the case and have the police intervene. As soon as these words were spoken, they immediately drew opposition from others. I checked the license plate number at the first time and found out that this car belongs to a rental company. The car itself should be fine. And there was indeed a little boy who fell into a coma in the car at that time, so it was a script, and the possibility of intentionally smearing it was very low. The man in the suit's face became increasingly ugly. A man with short hair and glasses immediately stood up and said, "Anyway, report the case as soon as possible. Let the police intervene in this matter before we talk about anything else. I think the safety of our car itself is absolutely not a problem. After all, it has been tested round after round. So I still feel that the root of the problem lies with the anchor named Zhou Nan. Go back to the police again." At this moment, the police officer responsible for handling online reports has arrived at Chen Dingen's office and described the entire incident. Chen Dingen thought for a moment and said, "Let's just forget it. Others are just a locksmith and haven't done anything illegal. You called others to the bureau, isn't that delaying their work? Alright, Xiao, go ahead and get busy." Zhao Shiyan heard Chen Dingen say so she naturally wouldn't continue to be entangled in this matter. "Chen team, I'm leaving." At this moment, the landline on Chen Dingen's desk rang. Shortly after he answered the phone, his expression also became serious. Quickly, the phone hung up. Chen Dingen stopped and Zhao Shiyan, who was about to leave the office, said, Zhao, why don't you invite that person to our place to inquire about the situation? I just received a report. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Master, do you drive anything quickly? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Master, do you drive anything quickly? At this moment, Zhang Donghan and his son have already boarded the ambulance and left. Zhou Nan remembered that before leaving, Zhang Donghan did not forget to check whether the lock of the car had been damaged by himself. I couldn't help but feel speechless for a moment. What kind of people are these? However, his trip was not in vain. Although the bet with Zhang Donghan cannot be continued due to this matter. But after Zhang Donghan personally admitted to his shallow knowledge, gave him money as a thank you, and recognized Zhou Nan's unlocking technique. And in front of all the viewers in the live broadcast room, I apologized to him. So this matter has also come to an end. Just as Zhou Nan was about to click on the next broadcast, he saw the terrifying data in the live broadcast room at that moment. Zhou Nan never expected that in just a few hours, the number of followers in his live broadcast room had already increased by tens of thousands. Various gift effects and full-screen bullet comments appeared in the live broadcast room. You're so amazing. You're not a descendant of Lock King, are you? You already have such unlocking skills at such a young age. The anti-theft system of this luxury car can't stop the anchor. If I had the anchor's unlocking skills, what would I do if I were an anchor? Can I drive wherever I go? Your idea upstairs is a bit dangerous. However, due to the fast screen swiping speed of bullet comments in the live broadcast room, some users even spent money to buy pop-up comments. Don't worry about my master's affairs. Do you accept apprentices as the anchor? My previous job was actually similar to yours, but because the unlocking speed was a bit slow, I was caught by someone else. Don't worry about my master's business. After being imprisoned for a few years and coming out of prison, I have started my old profession again. I am diligently practicing the skill of unlocking locks. If you are really willing to teach me some moves, the anchor, I will definitely show you filial piety every day. Don't worry about my master's affairs. Fuck me, who reported me? How did I receive a reminder from the online police? Are you asking me to report to the local police station tomorrow? This scene directly amused many people in the live broadcast room. Hahaha, those who have strange ideas, you really should keep quiet. I saw a message in the live broadcast room before that Ping and Jinghai had followed this live broadcast room, and there may be many police officers in this live broadcast room. So the anchor was targeted by the police because he unlocked the lock too quickly and felt like he had a side job. Hahaha, you're really miserable, anchor. Zhou Nan was speechless as he watched the barrage in the live broadcast room. He thought that sooner or later he would be misunderstood by the audience due to this cheating system, and thus be targeted by the police who received the report. But he didn't expect that on the third day of his live broadcast, he had already reached this point, and the official account was already on the follow list in the live broadcast room. Zhou Nan thought that since he had already been noticed, he naturally wanted to express himself and promote positive energy. So Zhou Nan's expression became serious, and he said, the unlocking technique is used to serve the public, to help others, just like what I just did. So please don't make any bad associations. However, when Zhou Nan said these words, he was not just pretending. He also began to seriously contemplate this issue in his heart. After possessing the unlocking skills bestowed upon oneself by the system, the things protected behind those locks are easily accessible to him. If he doesn't restrain himself, there is really a possibility that he will embark on a path of no return. At this moment, when the audience in the live broadcast room heard what Zhou Nan said, they naturally brushed up the words, positive energy, in the live broadcast room. Zhou Nan saw that the matter between him and Zhang Donghan had also been resolved, and the boy was also taken to the ambulance. And I've talked about almost everything I need to talk about on my end. So there's nothing good to live stream anymore. He said to the camera, thank you for watching. Let's meet tomorrow. Afterwards, I clicked on the next broadcast. However, Zhou Nan hasn't gone much since he put away his live streaming equipment. I was stopped by a police officer who was responsible for recording the case after receiving a report earlier, and said, I just received a phone call. There is a report that has something to do with you. So there are some things that require your cooperation with us. You relax, it's really just inviting you to have some tea and chat for a while. It seems like you're entering the bureau for the first time, little brother. Don't be nervous. Come, have a cup of tea. I'll ask you a few questions and you can leave. Chen Dingyan, who had been waiting in the reception room for a long time, stood up and personally poured a cup of hot tea, placing it on the coffee table. After sitting on the sofa, Zhou Nan picked up his cup and took a small sip, saying, Officer, do you have any questions? Isn't it because of my live broadcast? I asked a lawyer friend before the broadcast, and he told me that this kind of live broadcast is not a problem. Just don't teach the audience how to unlock during the live broadcast, the latter is an illegal behavior. Because his system was bound to live streaming, Zhou Nan was afraid that his live streaming room would be banned, so he began to explain. Chen Dingyan chuckled and said, yes, your lawyer friend said very well. But let me add one more thing. Not only can you not teach people how to unlock during your live broadcast, but you also need to remember to come to the police station to prepare a case when you privately recruit apprentices. Master, I have watched the video of you unlocking the lock. As for the speed, as soon as you lift the lock with your hand, it will open. Don't blame us for making a fuss. Zhou Nan nodded and said, of course, you are also following the rules in your work. Chen Dingyan smiled and said, that's good. Let's get back to business. Because the speed at which you open the car door is too fast, many people believe that that luxury car has serious safety loopholes. But the official of this luxury car does not believe that there is a problem with their car, so they suspect that you are cooperating with others and intentionally smearing them. So that's also why I called you here today. Zhou Nan frowned upon hearing the words and said, I don't know that car owner, and there was a child in the car at that time. How could anyone joke about human life? Chen Dingyan immediately took over the conversation and said, yes, I think so too. They have all reported the case, so we still have to ask a few questions. I think their car is actually fine, but master, your unlocking skills are too good, which is why such a misunderstanding occurred. On the way to Zhou Nan, Chen Dingyan actually did a brief check on Zhou Nan and Zhang Donghan, and they really didn't have much contact. According to the description of the police officers who rushed to the scene with the rescue personnel earlier, the car itself was also fine. So Chen Dingyan came to this conclusion. But he also wanted to personally confirm, Master, can you drive this? As soon as Chen Dingyan finished speaking, he heard a click and a pair of handcuffs leaned against his own left arm. Zhou Nan felt that since those videos had already been leaked, there was no need for him to pretend. So he nodded. I took out a silver needle from the small box I carried with me. The silver needle was just inserted into the handcuff lock hole for a moment. The handcuffs slipped off Chen Dingyan's arm. Until the handcuffs landed, making a crisp impact sound. Everyone just realized that the handcuffs had already been opened by Zhou Nan. So much so that no one on site could clearly see Zhou Nan's unlocking action and see how the handcuffs were actually opened. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Suddenly became popular. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 suddenly became popular. Great. Returning to the reception room, Chen Dingyan patted Zhou Nan's shoulder and loudly praised him. After trying the handcuffs, Chen Dingyan still felt unsatisfied and asked Zhou Nan to test the door of the reception room and the car he drove while carrying out the task. But Zhou Nan easily solved everything. Chen Dingyan continued, I have seen people who can drive these things, but there are too few people with your speed. At this moment, Chen Dingyan received a call from his colleague. He walked to the corner and connected the phone. Afterwards, the expression on his face gradually became more exciting. Quickly, the phone hung up. Chen Dingyan smiled and said, It's okay, it's just a misunderstanding. My colleague and the technical personnel sent by the luxury car brand went to inspect that car together. I found that there were no security vulnerabilities in that car. They also hired several lockers. If it's just relying on a needle, those locksmiths would say they can't open it, let alone within 10 seconds. Zhou Nan nodded and said, Officer, I can go now. Chen Dingyan saw the situation and quickly urged him to stay. He first took out a bag of yushi from his pocket and quickly stuffed it back. He took out baohuzi from another pocket and said, Master, come on. I apologize for taking up some of your time due to this matter. Just as Zhou Nan received the package of huazi, Chen Dingyan continued, Master, your skills are so good. Have you ever considered cooperating with our police station and becoming a special talent in our police station? In terms of salary and benefits, we can find a time to discuss in detail, and it will definitely satisfy you. Before Zhou Nan could speak, Chen Dingyan seemed to notice his hesitation and then said, You don't need to answer my question now. Let's leave a contact information and make friends first. You can answer after you think it over. After everything was said, he couldn't refuse to go to Zhou Nan. After leaving contact information with Chen Dingyan, he left the police station. After Zhou Nan left, a police officer standing next to Chen Dingyan asked, Teen Chen, although he unlocks the lock quite quickly, is it necessary to give him a special talent spot? Chen Dingyan said slowly, I think it's actually necessary. I looked at Zhou Nan's files before and found that he is only in his 20s and has already obtained the highest level of unlocking professional certificate. And his performance when unlocking, as you can see, is definitely a high-end talent in this field. But if he doesn't want to, then forget it. After all, our bureau has already collaborated with a master locksmith, and I think that's enough. At this point, on the internet. In the official announcement of that luxury car brand. Although mainly apologizing to consumers, both inside and outside the word suggest that this incident was a collaboration between Zhou Nan and other manufacturers to smear their brand. The purpose is to combat competitors and package Zhou Nan's unlocking ability. As soon as these words were spoken, they immediately attracted countless onlookers. After careful consideration, many people feel that the brand's statement is actually quite reasonable. That's right, no one can use a silver needle to open the car door with just a few clicks. So luxury car brands are the victims, as they suffered significant losses due to this incident, while the anchor gained huge traffic as a result. So who is that anchor? Where is he live streaming? If that's true, then he's too inhumane to take a child's life seriously. It can only be said that people nowadays can do anything to become famous, there is no bottom line. However, this announcement has not been posted on the internet for too long. The official of that luxury car deleted that announcement on its own. Even spent money to reduce the popularity of this entry. Just when netizens are curious. The official account of a police station jointly issued an apology statement. The first sentence at the beginning is, "Sincere apologies to Zhou Nan." And through a video, it has been proven that there are no issues with the safety system of their luxury car. Just because Zhou Nan's unlocking technique is too advanced. He is so advanced that it is difficult to understand. That's why such a misunderstanding occurred. Below that announcement, there is also a video attached. At the beginning of the video, the two experienced locksmiths first presented their certificates, their names, and the years they have worked in the industry. To prove to the audience that they are indeed very experienced lock openers. At the beginning, when the two faced some locks prepared by the official personnel of the luxury car, they both showed confidence and skillfully unlocked them. But afterwards, their confident smiles gradually faded as they faced the anti-theft system of that luxury car. Until the end, both of them had sore waists, sweating profusely on their foreheads, and were unable to open the car door. Even the two agreed that they had been deceived. The doors of this car cannot be opened in such a short amount of time. Not to mention using only one needle. But when the two unlocking masters saw Zhou Nan's video, they both fell into silence. The car in the picture is still the same. But Zhou Nan easily opened the car door. So even Zhou Nan, whose unlocking technology has been officially recognized by luxury cars, has once again attracted the attention of netizens. Many netizens have also used various means to start picking up Zhou Nan. But without exception, they didn't find any outstanding resumes or profound backgrounds. They can only uncover it on the internet, and this person is just an ordinary and just graduated college student. They couldn't find any other information besides that. The more it is like this, the more it has aroused the attention of netizens. They concluded that a person like Zhou Nan, who is so young and stands at the top of a field, could never be as ordinary as he appears on the surface. That group of people are more willing to believe that it is because Zhou Nan's data has been protected that they can only access these. So there are also various speculations about Zhou Nan on the internet. After seeing those speculations, netizens became even more curious about Zhou Nan. So they all entered Zhou Nan's live broadcast room and clicked to follow. It's this anchor, a lock opening video silenced both teachers who opened the lock. This anchor has a lot of background. I heard their family has been doing this for generations. I have also heard that the ancestors of this anchor were specialized in helping the emperor inspect the security of the national treasury. Wachow, how did I hear that the ancestors of the anchor were descendants of the Mahist school, and what kind of Mahist organization would they do? Hahaha, you've watched the anime above too much, but the more you say it, the more outrageous it becomes. Zhou Nan, who returned home, was completely confused. At this moment, the messages on the phone are ringing incessantly. After opening thousands of private messages he received, he saw the speculations of those netizens. Zhou Nan felt a tingling sensation as he watched, and he could only sigh. This year's netizens are indeed quite imaginative. End of this chapter. Chapter 6 was initiated by him. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 was initiated by him the next morning, in the morning. Ding ding ding. Zhou Nan was awakened by a burst of phone ringtones. He glanced at the caller ID on his phone. Although the caller did not make a note, Zhou Nan still answered the call. After all, his previous main job was unlocking. So the person who called is likely to come to find him to unlock the door. After connecting, the other end of the phone immediately said, "Hello Master Zhou, I'm here to find you to unlock. It's a big order." After hearing about the big order, Zhou Nan finally became interested. After all, his live streaming revenue in the past few days has been quite good, and he is prepared to reject those troublesome small orders. But what Zhou Nan found somewhat strange was the tone of the voice on the other end of the phone. He couldn't even tell for a moment whether the other person was male or female. But Zhou Nan did not hesitate on this point and replied, "So where is the location? If it's far from me, I won't go. Because I've been a bit busy lately, I'm sorry." The other end of the phone immediately said, "That's natural. You're now a big star in the unlocking world. I could see your headline everywhere yesterday, so it's normal for you to be a little busy." Moreover, Master Zhou seems to have genuine confidence in his unlocking skills. A typical locksmith would first ask what type of lock it is, then evaluate the difficulty of unlocking, and then decide whether to accept the order. And you didn't even ask what lock to open, but directly asked for the location. After hearing these words, Zhou Nan felt the same way. Although he knew that there was no lock that could stump him now. But I still need to restrain myself a bit. Zhou Nan smiled and said, "I'm sorry I forgot to ask. Can you tell me what kind of lock it is?" The other end of the phone chuckled lightly upon hearing the words and then said, "Firstly, the material of the door is carbon steel, which has strong fire resistance, collision resistance, and impact resistance. One side of the door is a solid movable latch, and the other side is a fixed latch. When the door is closed, the latch will extend and embed into the door frame, and the fixed latch and slot will be tightly fastened to each other. So even if the door shaft is damaged, the door body will not detach from the door frame. The type of door lock is a certified mechanical combination password lock with 4 turntables and a password combination of 1 billion. Zhou Nan couldn't bear to listen anymore and said, "You were teasing me early in the morning. Is your house full of gold? Do you still have this kind of door? Who's the head of the door like this?" The other end of the phone smiled and said, "I didn't ask you to come and open my door. You're right about one thing, there are indeed piles of gold bars inside the door." Upon hearing this, Zhou Nan also reacted and said, "Hey buddy, stop teasing me. I really don't have the mood to hear you joke like this early in the morning." But to everyone's surprise, the person on the other end of the phone became extremely serious and said, "Master Zhou, we are, in your understanding, a criminal gang. Yesterday I saw news about you online and even saved your video, analyzing your unlocking actions frame by frame. I think you are the last link in our poor organization. A bank vault like this is just a relatively small order. If you join our organization, we will give you an unprecedented pleasure." After hearing these words, Zhou Nan felt completely drowsy and said, "Are you serious? If you're serious, I'll record and report the case." The person on the other end of the phone seemed to completely ignore such threats. Do you really want to live a life like those ordinary people, with such unlocking technology? After hearing this, Zhou Nan didn't want to chat with the other party anymore. And just as he was about to hang up the phone, he said to his convenience, "Since you refused, then you should take it easy. Damn it, threaten me." Zhou Nan originally intended to vent his anger on the other party, but they had already hung up the phone. Mom's neurosis, Zhou Nan felt that his good mood for the day had been ruined by this phone call. And when he woke up and walked to the living room, he found a small advertisement on his front door. Zhou Nan immediately dialed Chen Dingen's phone after seeing this scene. The other party quickly connected. Zhou Nan immediately said, "Team Chen, I want to report the case. I just received a phone call from the other side asking me to open the door of the bank vault. Also, someone posted a small advertisement at home." "What is written on the advertisement?" "Quick unlocking, professional unlocking service, opening safe, opening large and small cars." Due to some recent events in the bureau, Chen Dingen, who had been busy all night, couldn't help but laugh when he received a call from Zhou Nan. This also helped him clear some of his drowsiness. I didn't expect someone who opened the lock to do business to come to your house." "Don't worry, he's already breaking into a private residence. We'll definitely help you find him. As for the person you mentioned who asked you to open the vault, I'll check this number later. By the way, regarding safety issues, you must not underestimate them now. After all, everyone else has entered your house. It's best to replace it with a better door lock or install a surveillance camera at the door." Chen Dingen had just hung up the phone when the door to his office was knocked on. Afterwards, a police officer walked in with a stack of forms and said, "Team Chen, why have we been reporting so many cases here recently? I feel a bit abnormal. We've been losing our hair these days." Chen Dingen sighed when he heard it, rubbed his slightly sour eyes, and took a rough glance at the table. Although the newly added reports are all about the loss of small items or encountering small cases of fraud. But as these cases continue to increase, the above has also been taken seriously and has put considerable pressure on Chen Dingen. If he cannot handle these things properly, he is likely to be punished. Chen Dingen said, "What can we do? We can only investigate slowly. Let the brothers below put in more effort during this period, let's stick to it. There are only so many criminals in a certain area. If we catch all these people recently, it will definitely be much easier afterwards." On the other side, feeling a bit depressed, Zhou Nan couldn't sleep anymore. He went to a noodle restaurant downstairs and started eating noodles. After picking up the noodles handed over by the boss, he placed his phone on the table and started the live broadcast. Prepare to chat with netizens. As soon as it started broadcasting, many people flooded into the live broadcast room. "Did you start broadcasting so early today, Anchor? We all feel a bit uncomfortable with you suddenly becoming so diligent at this moment. The person sitting behind you, the anchor, seems to have a little unclean hands. Damn it, the bag of huazi in your pocket was just taken away by the host." After Zhou Nan saw those barrage comments, he was momentarily taken aback, then patted his coat pocket with his right hand. As a result, that bag of huazi is really gone. So Zhou Nan immediately turned around and patted the middle-aged man behind him, saying, "Why are your hands so dirty? Give me back the things." But who knew the middle-aged man didn't even admit it. "What do you mean, what did I take from you? I've been eating noodles all along just now. I'm warning you not to cause trouble for me." At this moment, the system prompt sounded in Zhou Nan's mind. "Ding, it has been detected that the host has been stolen by a thief. The intermediate cloud detective ghost hand has been distributed. It was the one who stole from the opposite side first. Please launch a counterattack and seek justice from the host." End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Turns out we're our own brothers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Turns out we're our own brothers. The voices of the two arguing immediately attracted many customers in the noodle shop to watch. The middle-aged man seemed very uncomfortable being watched by so many people. He put on a duckbill cap and turned to Zhou Nan, saying, "If you still want to cause trouble, let's go out and find a place to continue chatting." As he spoke, the middle-aged man stood up and walked towards the outside of the noodle shop. Of course, Zhou Nan didn't hesitate and immediately got up to follow the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man ahead has a fast pace and seems familiar with the nearby environment. Not long after following the other party, Zhou Nan arrived at a small alley that was almost deserted. The middle-aged man stopped at this moment, turned around and glanced at Zhou Nan, then looked around. Soon, a disdainful smile appeared on the middle-aged man's face, and he changed his honest image in the noodle shop. I didn't expect you to dare to come with me, you idiot. To be honest with you, the bag of huazi in your pocket is mine. If you have the courage to keep up, I'll give it to you. Zhou Nan looked at the middle-aged man slowly approaching him with no panic on his face and said, okay, just give me back that bag of huazi, and I won't pursue you anymore. The middle-aged man seemed to be amused by this sentence. He walked up to Zhou Nan and sneered, reaching into his shirt pocket. As he made this move, his smile began to turn grim. I'll give it to your mother. Give me all the money you carry, or I'll give you a knife. It can be very fast. The expression on the middle-aged man's face became extremely exciting. Where's my knife? When I just ate the noodles, they were still there. Later, he quickly rummaged through the other pocket of his shirt, but he still couldn't find the knife, and the huazi and a few hundred yuan in cash in the other pocket also disappeared. The middle-aged man instinctively touched his pant pocket again. Oh my goodness, even his phone is gone. So he couldn't help but curse loudly, is graste that bastard. I'll fuck your mother. Someone dares to steal my brother Dao's things too. Zhou Nan saw himself and had already thoroughly touched the middle-aged man's entire body. So I don't want to stay here anymore. He thinks it's actually quite dangerous, after all, he even found a small knife on a middle-aged person. But before he could take a few steps, he was stopped by the other party. Zhou Nan thought the other party was still trying to cause trouble, so he reached into his pocket and placed it on the small knife that had just arrived. But to his surprise, the middle-aged man had a bright smile on his face and said, "Brother, you should have taken the things on me. Oh my, it was my fault before that I stole it from my own brother. Anyway, I'll find another place to treat my brother to a drink and apologize to you, brother. Then brother, calm down and return my things to me. Let's make friends." Because the middle-aged man realized that only Zhou Nan had just approached him. So the things on oneself can only be touched by him. This is also the most shocking thing for middle-aged men, after all, they are also considered experienced in this field, so they are much more vigilant than normal people in terms of prevention. But the other party actually cleaned his underwear without his knowledge. It can be seen that I and the young man in front of me are not in the same rank at all. Zhou Nan saw that the other party was not aggressive at the moment, so he released his grip on the knife and said, "Who is your brother? You're not afraid of me reporting to the police and arresting you for being close to brothers and sisters when you see people?" The middle-aged man smiled and said, "Don't laugh anymore. With a craftsmanship like yours, you probably have more background than me. Call the police over and see who he will catch first." Zhou Nan saw that the other party completely regarded him as his own, so he had the idea of helping Chen Dingyan deliver some performance. After all, he called the other party not long ago and troubled them, saying, it's a joke. They are all our own brothers, let's see if there's anything we need." After the middle-aged man clicked on what Zhou Nan had returned to him, he found that a knife was missing. But he also understood that Zhou Nan couldn't trust him, so he didn't point it out. It's not bad, it's not bad. Brother, why don't you come to my house and sit down? We can eat and drink while we communicate and exchange our skills. Zhou Nan, who had this intention, replied, "Okay, it's been a long time since I met my own brother. Come to my house is nearby, let's have a good chat." The middle-aged man was overjoyed upon hearing this and changed his title from brother to senior. "Senior, you can't go back on your word. That's settled." Because Zhou Nan's methods were obviously much more sophisticated than his, he felt that their communication was definitely a big advantage for him. 20 minutes later, the two of them arrived together outside the apartment rented by Zhou Nan. Oh my knife, I just remembered forgetting my key. Because on the way back, the middle-aged man said his martial arts nickname was Brother Dao, so let Zhou Nan call him Xiao Dao. So Zhou Nan directly referred to him with a small knife. After hearing these words, Brother Dao, who was carrying braised vegetables and 2 bottles of wine, became a little anxious and said, "Senior, what should we do? Why don't we go to my house?" Zhou Nan waved his hand and said, "It's not a big deal either." As he spoke, he groped for a string of keys from Brother Dao. After Zhou Nan put the ear-digging spoon on the keychain into it, there was a click. The anti-theft door opened. With a click, the door inside also opened. This scene stunned Brother Dao. I was once again shocked by the methods of this senior. Brother Dao immediately flattered and said, "Senior, you are really amazing. I didn't expect you to have this skill. But we must teach our brothers." Zhou Nan smiled and said, "Don't worry, since we're chatting like this, I'll definitely teach you 1 or 2 tricks, but you still need to take each bite of food. Don't worry." Zhou Nan walked into the house first. He first placed the mobile phone used for live streaming in a hidden corner, so that the camera could focus on the coffee table in the living room. Because after coming out of the noodle shop, Zhou Nan kept this phone in his pocket. So the audience in the live broadcast room finally saw the footage at this moment. Oh my goodness, isn't this the person who stole the anchor Huazi before? Why are you drinking with the anchor now? The anchor's heart is too big, he can actually bring such people to drink at home. Damn it, why are those 2 people drinking and pulling out a rope? Isn't that right? Playing so much. Hee, it's still starting to be tied up. Is that the plot I want to watch? After handing the rope to Brother Dao, Zhou Nan turned around and put his hands together on his back. "Xiao Dao, you must have seen handcuffs many times," he said. Brother Dao immediately nodded and said, "I'm good at this. If the handcuffs are not enough when those police officers arrest someone, they will use this knot to tie them up. I have only been tied a few times, and this kind of knot is very evil. The more I struggle, the tighter it becomes." Zhou Nan smiled confidently and said, "Then come tie me up and I'll perform a unique skill for you. By the way, tie your legs together." Upon hearing this request, Brother Dao was taken aback for a moment. He thought it was because Zhou Nan was drunk. But faced with Zhou Nan's strong demands, he couldn't refuse either. Dao Gu, who had studied this type of knot, quickly tied Zhou Nan's hands and feet tightly. Everyone in this live broadcast room was also dumbfounded. Some viewers even doubt whether there will be a paid segment next. What surprised everyone was Zhou Nan only twisted his body a few times, and surprisingly, the knots in his hands fell off on their own. Afterwards, he stood up and jumped twice again. Both legs have also regained their freedom. Sleeping trough. "Senior, I want to learn this." Brother Dao couldn't control himself anymore after seeing this behind the scenes and exclaimed loudly. "If you learn this, it will definitely be a particularly practical skill." Upon hearing this, Zhou Nan drank a glass of wine and pretended to be very reluctant. Brother Dao immediately understood and took out 500 yuan, saying, "Senior, take it first. You taught me, and there must be more of these things." Zhou Nan thought for a while and said, "Okay, then turn your back and I'll help you tie it up first." Brother Dao quickly nodded and turned around in perfect cooperation. When Zhou Nan tied him up, he even begged to tie him up tighter, otherwise he might not have learned the essence. Zhou Nan also fulfilled his wish. Afterwards, Zhou Nan checked and felt that it was indeed tightly tied. He took out his phone and dialed Chen Dingen's number, saying, "Chen team, come quickly. I caught an old pickpocket for you." End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Your kids' little hands are designated unclean. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Your kids' little hands are designated unclean. The scene that just happened. All were seen live streaming. Wait, what's the situation now? Let me sort it out and say that it was a clumsy thief who had the anchor tie him up on his own. Ha ha ha, how could there be such a stupid person? This kind of person is too pure, and a bit cute. And the audience in the live broadcast room only focused on that clumsy thief. They also began to discuss how Zhou Nan managed to break free from the handcuffs and knots. How did the anchor break free? I carefully checked and found out that the clumsy thief's technique of tying people was very professional. This kind of knot should not be able to break free. Do you think it's possible that it's a bone reduction technique? I heard my grandfather talk about this strange technique, and I heard that people who have practiced it can compress their own body bones, so as to pass through some gaps that normal people cannot pass through. This kind of technique does exist. I also saw this kind of performance in a reality show competition, where the person removed the net from the tennis racket and actually put their own body inside. It scared me at the time. So the anchor actually used the technique of shrinking bones just now. I didn't expect the anchor to have so many things. And did you just notice a detail? When the anchor helped the clumsy thief tie a rope, he touched everything on his body, but the clumsy thief didn't notice it at all. It's true that you said so, there's already a lot of stuff on the coffee table. This is unlocking again, it's ghostly, and it's shrinking. I can't imagine what the anchor is doing every day after the broadcast. At this moment, Zhou Nan has already finished the phone call. On the other end of the phone, Chen Dingyan seemed very nervous, constantly reminding Zhou Nan to pay attention to his personal safety. Say you will arrive soon. Then he immediately hung up the phone. So much so that Zhou Nan was somewhat uncertain, whether Chen Dingyan had heard or not, that Dao Gu had already been bound by him. And during the process of Zhou Nan making this phone call, the expression on Brother Dao's face changed again and again. He initially thought it was Zhou Nan joking. Later on, I gradually realized that the situation was not right. At this moment, Brother Dao's face turned pale and he said, "Senior, you must be joking." Zhou Nan ignored him and instead leaned on the sofa, using the remote control to turn on the TV. This action also made Brother Dao completely realize that he was being calculated by Zhou Nan. So Brother Dao began to get angry and said, "I'm just a grass mud horse. Fortunately, I still think you are a person with a brain. I just gave you a pack of huazi, didn't I? Do you think it's worth it to put yourself in prison just to get out of this?" Zhou Nan replied, "Don't talk nonsense. I am a law-abiding citizen, different from you." Brother Dao laughed back angrily and said, "Law-abiding citizen Nima. If you are a law-abiding citizen, how did you learn these skills from yourself?" Zhou Nan shrugged and said, "Law-abiding citizens, can't we have some hobbies and interests in private?" After speaking, Zhou Nan didn't want to pay attention to this person anymore. This person is full of vulgar language, which makes his brain ache. So Zhou Nan found a large roll of tape and applied it twice to Brother Dao's mouth. On the other side, Chen Dingyan appeared so panicked after receiving this report. It's because he heard the name Dao Gu from Zhou Nan's mouth. And when he remembered, there was a wanted criminal whose martial arts nickname was Brother Dao. If two Dao brothers are the same person, it would be a bit dangerous. So when Chen Dingyan received the report, he immediately led his team to Zhou Nan's home. And for safety reasons, all the police officers who went to the scene were carrying guns and all the bullets were loaded. About 20 minutes. The two of them drove to the door of Zhou Nan's apartment. Because Zhou Nan did not close the door when he entered the house. So at this moment, the door is open. Chen Dingyan, who took out his gun, first signaled to his partner to take a step back. With a clang, Chen Dingyan kicked the door open and the two of them entered the apartment one in front of the other. "Police, don't move." When the two of them saw Dao Gu, who had already been tied up in various ways, they were both shocked and their chins dropped. This person should be the wanted criminal. "You bring him to the car first, and I will come right away. Chen Dingyan put away his gun and turned to his partner. The police officer nodded and stepped forward to lift Brother Dao, dragging him towards the door. Chen Dingyan approached Zhou Nan and excitedly patted his shoulder, saying, "Xiao Zhou, you've been a big help to me this time. This person is a fugitive who has been wanted for several years. Being cunning and dangerous, he escaped several arrests. If I remember correctly, his bounty is estimated to be over 100,000 yuan. Wait for you and me to go back to the police station and go through the program. After a while, this money will be credited to your card." At the door, Brother Dao, whose hands and feet were bound, heard these words. He began to struggle with immense anger and despair. He didn't expect that he had worked hard for so many years, narrowly escaped death several times, and actually fell into the hands of an ordinary citizen. He is roaring in his heart at this moment. Even if this person is a plain-clothes person who has been with him for several months, his heart can still feel better. After Chen Dingyan expressed his gratitude, he educated Zhou Nan again. "You can't be so bold anymore. Do you know how dangerous you are? This person has a smuggled gun on him. If he had brought a gun today, do you know how dangerous you are?" After hearing these words, Zhou Nan didn't say anything, but silently pulled Chen Dingyan down in a corner to the side. Chen Dingyan was about to ask Zhou Nan what he was doing when he saw a pistol hidden inside Zhou Nan's open coat. Zhou Nan said, "This is what I found from that person. It should be the gun you mentioned. Take it back and investigate." At this moment, although Zhou Nan appeared calm, he had always believed that it was just a simulated gun used to scare people until he heard Chen Dingyan's words. "I didn't expect that what I touched from the other person would be a real guy." Fortunately, out of caution, he touched them together. After hearing these words, Chen Dingyan's mind went blank. Got a gun from an old pickpocket. Your little boy's hands are also designated as not clean, right? Is it true that, like the recent rumors on the internet, this kid really has some side jobs? Just as Chen Dingyan fell into silence and began to contemplate the possibilities involved, Zhou Nan gradually realized that the atmosphere around him seemed to be starting to change. After looking at Chen Dingyan, his heart trembled. Zhou Nan. What does his gaze mean? End of this chapter. Chapter 9. It's reasonable for me to have a faster unlocking hand, right? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. It's reasonable for me to have a faster unlocking hand, right, Chen Team? If you have anything to say, just speak up. Zhou Nan felt that the atmosphere at the scene was a bit oppressive, so he spoke up to break the silence. Chen Dingyan took out a pen and paper and began asking. It's okay, just asking according to convention. Let's talk about the cause and process of the whole thing. Upon hearing this, Zhou Nan walked to the shoe rack at the entrance and took out the phone used for video recording. At this moment, the barrage in the live broadcast room has exploded. Because they just saw that amazing scene. Sleeping slot. At first, I thought the anchor was just a prank, but it turned out to be a real joke. I've noticed that even if this anchor stuff is fake, it's still real. So the anchor really used this method to catch a fugitive with a bounty of over 100,000 yuan. I don't think it's reasonable, but after thinking about it, I realized it's actually quite reasonable. Due to the need to use the live broadcast playback function to show the recording to Chen Dingyan, Zhou Nan closed the live broadcast room at this moment and clicked on the next broadcast. After Zhou Nan clicked on the video, he handed it to Chen Dingyan and said, "This person first gave me huazi at the noodle shop. Then we found an alley and had a sparring. After that, he insisted on going home with me to exchange crafts, and that's all." Although Zhou Nan spoke lightly, the more Chen Dingyan watched the video, the more he felt that the kid in front of him was not simple. Why would a locksmith have such a high level of theft skills? Especially when he broke free from the handcuffs, Chen Dingyan's eyes were almost wide open. Zhou Nan seemed to see Chen Dingyan's confusion and said, it's reasonable for me to open the lock quickly, isn't it? This is just a little bit of my private hobby, I didn't use it to do anything bad. The first actual battle was used on that fugitive. Chen Dingyan was taken aback by this. He had originally intended to continue asking where Zhou Nan's ghost hands came from. But Chen Dingyan thought that Zhou Nan gang had just helped him with such a big favor. If he continued to ask like this, he seemed a bit unfriendly. So Chen Dingyan put away the pistol in Zhou Nan's pocket and said, "Thank you, Xiao Zhou. You really did me a big favor this time. This person has some qualifications on the road, and through his confession, we may be able to uncover more criminals." But Zhou Nan was not very interested in these things. "Congratulations, then. By the way, Chen team, have you found the person who called me and the person who came into my house to post a small advertisement?" Chen Dingyan said awkwardly, "That number has been checked and it shows as an empty number." Because this can be considered a relatively old residential area, there are many surveillance cameras with many loopholes due to long-term disrepair. So the person who went to your house to post a small advertisement doesn't have any clues at the moment. I will contact you if there is any new news. Zhou Nan nodded, thinking about it. After all, it had only been 2 days since he reported the case, so he was a little anxious. However, Chen Dingyan's words made Zhou Nan feel that he should move to another place to live. Recently, he has received many gifts in the live broadcast room, and with Chen Dingyan's reward of over 100,000 yuan, he has also had a lot of money on hand. Moving to a more upscale community to rent a house is more than enough. Chen Dingyan thought of his colleagues waiting downstairs, so he didn't continue talking. "I don't have any problems with Xiao Zhou on my end," he said. "My colleague downstairs is still waiting. Please remember to collect the bounty in a few days." In the afternoon, Zhou Nan finished looking at the house under the guidance of the agent. Overall, Zhou Nan is quite satisfied. At least the bathroom won't leak like before. At least there is finally daylight inside the house. His previous apartment can be called the Shake Hands Tower, and he had to turn on the lights in the afternoon, otherwise the interior would be pitch black. What satisfies Zhou Nan the most is that the door locks in this community can be considered relatively high-end, and the corridors and community are equipped with surveillance cameras, ensuring high safety. "Brothers, let's finish looking at that house. Let's go downstairs and see if there's anything delicious nearby." Zhou Nan picked up his phone and walked out the door. Because the house he rented is on the 3rd floor, he didn't take the elevator, but instead chose to take the stairs down. As soon as he arrived at the 2nd floor, Zhou Nan heard a commotion. A middle-aged woman with a slightly overweight figure was loudly scolding a young man next to her, spitting uncontrollably. "Are you really capable? I'm still boiling soup in my house. It's been almost 10 minutes since we started here. Why haven't you opened it yet? If you don't have this skill, don't eat this bowl of rice. Don't waste my time." Due to middle-aged women constantly putting pressure on the side, the young man's attention was also diverted as a result, and he was so anxious that he was sweating profusely, but the door couldn't be opened. After wiping his sweat, he explained, "Auntie, don't be angry. This type of lock has better anti-theft properties. And your lock cylinder should be broken. Generally speaking, it will take some time. I only opened it for 5 minutes now. Don't worry." But these words angered the middle-aged woman. "Get out of here. If your skills are not good, don't blame lock. You're driving so slowly, I'll give you a maximum of 30 later." The young man became anxious upon hearing these words and his expression became even more aggrieved. "Auntie, we agreed on 100 yuan deal. How could you do this?" Upon seeing this behind the scenes, Zhou Nan felt that his colleague was not easy to encounter such a stubborn customer. He stepped forward and said, "Let me drive it." The middle-aged woman looked disdainfully at Zhou Nan and was about to speak out and mock him. Zhou Nan has already taken over the unlocking tool and inserted it into the lock hole. Click. The door has opened. After returning the tool to the young man, Zhou Nan said, "Auntie, please pay him 100 yuan. It's not easy for us to unlock in this industry. In order to unlock this lock, someone else had to run to your house with such a large toolbox, so 100 yuan is really not much." But to everyone's surprise, the middle-aged woman shamelessly said, 100 yuan, are you crazy about money? If you just do it lightly, I'll give you 100 yuan. Why don't you just grab my money? As she spoke, the middle-aged woman took out 2 10-yuan bills from her bag and threw them on the ground. If you want it, take it, if you don't want it, get out. Step aside, I'm going inside. At this moment, many people in the live broadcast room feel angry. Damn it, you're really losing money. This person's quality is also too low, they don't know anything about respecting others. I think this person's logic is invincible. Previously, she complained that others were driving the master slowly and only offered 30. However, after the anchor suddenly opened the door, she also complained that the driver was driving too fast and thought it was too easy for the anchor to make money, so she only gave 20. Hey, the little brother who opened the lock is almost crying with anger. It's really not easy to do any job. Zhou Nan sneered and said, okay, since you think opening a door is easy, then you can open it yourself. With a bang, the door was closed again by Zhou Nan. Don't pick it up. Zhou Nan picked up the toolbox on the ground and walked downstairs, pulling the young man who had already secretly wiped away his tears once. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. What is a litigator? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. What is a litigator? Because everything happened too quickly. It wasn't until the two of them walked away that the middle-aged woman finally realized. She felt her lungs almost bursting with anger, stomping her feet in place and cursing at the air for a while before finally calming down. The middle-aged woman also had to continue calling the property management and contacting the locksmith to come and open the door. Hello, it's from the property management, right? Hurry up and find a locksmith for me. I want to file a complaint against the person you found last time. His unlocking skills are terrible and irresponsible. You should quickly make him go. The property customer service on the other end of the phone, although they didn't like the tone of the middle-aged woman, still patiently asked, could you please provide basic information so that I can contact the locksmith to help you unlock your door? The middle-aged woman couldn't help but say, didn't I just tell you again? It's really troublesome to say it again. South Gate, Building 3, Unit 2, door number 203. Property customer service replied, wait a moment, I will help you contact you now. Just as the middle-aged woman wanted to urge her, the property customer service replied, I have already asked you in our community's unlocking group, but they all said they don't want to come to your house to unlock. So you can only make your own phone calls and contact the locksmith from other places. After finishing speaking, the property customer service hung up the phone. The middle-aged woman was so angry that she vomited blood. After calling again, the person who answered the phone directly became an intelligent customer service representative. On the other side, the barrage in the live broadcast room was applauded by Zhou Nan's actions. The anchor did a great job, really refreshing. Did you see the expression on that old lady's face at the end? It's so exciting. You can't reason with such an unreasonable person, that's what you should do. The number of tipping gifts in the live broadcast room has also increased. The various gift effects lasted for a while. At this moment, Zhou Nan took out 100 and said, take this money. Zhou, brother Zhou, my name is Shen Xiaozhong, thank you so much. Although Shen Xiaozhong appeared very embarrassed. But he still took the 100 yuan. Now it's Zhou Nan's turn to have some doubts. Do you know me? Shen Xiaozhong nodded and said, not only me, but all the people in the locksmith circle around me know you. Your unlocking skills are really as high as reported in the news. I didn't even see the movements of your hands clearly before you opened the lock. When Shen Xiaozhong said these words, his eyes lit up. Just like a fan watching his idol. Zhou Nan felt a bit uncomfortable being stared at like this. At this moment, the phone rang. It's a call from Chen Dingyan. After temporarily turning off the microphone in the live broadcast room, Zhou Nan answered the phone and said, "Chen, what's up?" Chen Dingyan on the other end of the phone said, "The person who posted a small advertisement to your house has a clue. When I walked away from your house this morning, I asked the neighbors around you if they had seen anyone posting small advertisements or any unfamiliar faces recently. One of them said he had never seen a person posting small advertisements, but when he returned home at night, he saw a person cleaning small advertisements with a shovel. Because he was too happy at the time and felt that someone had finally taken care of these small advertisements, he even shook hands with the young man in great excitement. So it can also vaguely depict the other person's appearance. I think this person's suspicion is very high. Think about it, how could the community you are in be equipped with a dedicated cleaner who shovels small advertisements, and the time is also right? I'll send you the portrait, and you've been paying attention to this person lately." After speaking, Chen Dingyan hung up the phone. Zhou Nan also quickly received a picture on WeChat. When Zhou Nan saw this picture, he was completely stunned on the spot. Because the person in the picture is 7 or 8 points similar to Shen Xiaozhong beside him. Although the audience in the live broadcast room cannot hear any sound at this moment, they can see the picture. Because the person who sent the message, Zhou Nan noted that Officer Chen was the one. The note on that portrait is for the suspect. So many viewers have guessed something. I'll rely on you to see. That portrait looks like the young man next to the anchor. Do you think it might be the same person? I don't know, I saw a photo with the note suspect, but that young man looked honest and didn't seem to be someone who could break the law. How did the saying, "one cannot judge by appearance," come from? Don't be deceived by a person's appearance. If it's true, then it's a bit disgusting. On the surface, there's a soft and weak appearance, and even if bullied, they don't dare to speak up. Behind the scenes, it's this kind of person. I don't think those who dress up as shovels for small advertisements will be suspected of being the ones who post them. Genius. Zhou Nan showed this photo to Shen Xiaozhong on the side. And for the first time doing such a thing, Shen Xiaozhong felt sorry for Zhou Nan, and his psychological defense was instantly shattered. He suddenly shed tears and said, "Zhou, brother Zhou, I was really forced. Otherwise, I would never have done such a thing. I really have no way out." This actually stunned Zhou Nan. He didn't expect the other party to admit it so quickly. However, although Shen Xiaozhong looked very pitiful and helpless, Zhou Nan still wanted to choose to hand him over to the police. He is also not interested in listening to Shen Xiaozhong's unspoken secrets. Since you have done it, you must acknowledge it. At this moment, the system prompt sounded in Zhou Nan's mind. Ding, trigger a random task. Task available. Try to find and counterattack, force Shen Xiaozhong to post a small advertisement in your home, and you will immediately receive a reward. Random ability. Is there really a hidden truth? After considering for a while, Zhou Nan spoke up and said, "Then you can talk and start from scratch." Shen Xiaozhong, who had already felt despair, burst into tears again upon hearing these words. I feel a bit embarrassed to face Zhou Nan and say, "Thank you, brother Zhou. A few days ago, my mom and I went out to eat together. There is a group of people drinking at the next table. One of them spilled all the wine on my mother's head while toasting, and continued to insult her by pointing at her. Afterwards, I got into a fight with the group of people at the next table. I don't have much to do. There is a person named Gu at the next table, but after being taken to the hospital, he was diagnosed with a minor injury. He asked me to either compensate 50,000 yuan at once or go to jail for a few years. I assume it's true that I don't even want to live anymore, because my mother's illness has left me with no savings at all. How could I gather that 50,000 yuan? As he spoke, Shen Xiaozhong's emotions began to crumble again. But after I went in, who will take care of my mother? Later on, the ghost brother said he gave me a third choice, and then. At this moment, the audience in the live broadcast room is filled with anger. Why, isn't it that they were wrong first? Yes. Isn't this considered legitimate defense? Why do we have to lose money? This is too unfair. That group of people really have no heart. At this moment. Because Zhou Nan made a choice. The system has settled the reward. Ding, random ability distribution. Reward. Intermediate litigation stick. Zhou Nan was completely stunned. What kind of ghost is a litigation stick? Isn't it special? Should it be a lawyer? Subsequently, a massive amount of information flooded into Zhou Nan's mind. Ding, it was the other party who first used the limitations of the law to bully honest people. Please launch a counterattack immediately, host. End of this chapter.